Please subscribe and you can download this code from description below. In Python, you can determine if your code is being called within an exception handling context by using the sys.exe_info function from the sys module. This function allows you to inspect the current exception being handled, which includes information about the exception type, value, and traceback. Here's a step-by-step tutorial on how to check if your code is being called by exception handling code, along with code examples. Step 1. Import the sys module. To use sys.exe_info, you need to import the sys module. Place this import statement at the beginning of your Python script or module. Step 2. Check if an exception is being handled. You can use sys.exe_info within your code to determine whether it's being called within an exception handling context. When no exception is being handled, sys.exe_info returns a tuple with 3 none values. In contrast, when an exception is being handled, it returns information about the exception. Step 3. Write code to check for exception handling. Here's a code example that demonstrates how to check if your code is being called within an exception handling context. In the code above, the is_exception_handling_context function checks if an exception is being handled by calling sys.exe_info. It then prints information about the exception and returns true if an exception is being handled, or false if not. The main function demonstrates the usage of this function both within and outside of an exception handling context. When you run this code, you'll see that it correctly identifies when it's being called within an exception handling context and provides information about the exception being handled. In summary, you can determine if your code is being called within an exception handling context in Python by using sys.exe_info. This technique allows you to take different actions based on whether an exception is currently being handled in your code. ChatGPT